I want a real fight. So he signed what I signed. He signed a real fight, and I signed a real fight, and he got his advance. So there's no reason to make excuses of that.
Like I said before, there's no blueprint on how to beat Floyd Mayweather, and he can tell you that himself. You're gonna have to take the whole room together. You're gonna have to put the whole world in the ring to beat me. I'm the best.
Today, to report to you that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother, Floyd Money Mayweather.
Young at Bestness here today to report that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother Floyd Money Mayweather, as Manny Pacquiao just exploded on Floyd Mayweather during a live interview with Stephen A. Smith that has the entire boxing world going absolutely crazy right now, with sources claiming both fighters were brought together on ESPN's First Take to discuss their September 19th rematch, but things quickly went nuclear when Manny confronted Floyd about calling it an exhibition instead of a professional fight, and people who watched said the tension was immediate with both fighters sitting across from each other, while Stephen A. tried to moderate what turned into one of the most intense face-to-face confrontations ever seen in boxing history.
An exhibition with me, but I disagree, and I want to fight with exhibition with him. I want to fight a real fight like this.
Reports suggest Stephen A. Smith opened by asking Floyd directly about his recent comments at Caesar's Palace, where he called the fight an exhibition, and insiders say Floyd smiled and began answering casually, saying something like, "Yeah, it's just an exhibition to entertain the fans, nothing serious." But according to viewers, that's when Manny cut him off mid-sentence, and the entire atmosphere instantly changed, as people watching claim Manny's voice shifted from calm to explosive within. Second, saying, "You signed 3 contracts, Floyd, 3 different dates, you took my money as advance payment, and now you sit here and lie."
Chance, did you see what Floyd said? I think he's saying that he feels it's an exhibition and not a real fight.
Is that what he's feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure.
Yes, the contract that we signed is.
Floyd's reaction was reportedly defensive according to sources, as reports suggest he initially tried to laugh it off and told Manny to relax, saying they were both getting paid regardless, but insiders say Manny was not having any of it, and according to people close to the interview, Manny pulled documents from a folder he had brought and slammed them on the desk between them, saying, October 24th, November 6th, December 14th, 3 contracts you signed, Floyd, adding that all of them stated it was a professional fight and all carried his signature before saying, "You want to lie? Here's the proof," while viewers claimed you could actually see Floyd's smile completely disappear.
The boxing and competing and being the best, I'm not here to talk about what you did on the outside. I'm not here to talk about what nobody else did on the outside. I'm not here to talk about your personal life. When we talk about, what's going on inside that square circle.
Stephen A. Smith reportedly stepped in trying to get clarity on what contracts Manny was referencing, and sources say Manny explained that Floyd had signed agreements with MP Promotions, Netflix, and CSI Sports on 3 separate dates, all specifying a sanctioned professional bout at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And according to insiders, Manny stated, "Every contract says professional boxing match, not one says exhibition," adding that Floyd had taken advance money for all 3 agreements and had already been paid, but now wanted to change the terms, while people watching said Floyd appeared visibly uncomfortable as Manny laid out the full timeline, and Floyd's response focused on the idea of entertainment, with insiders claiming he said something close to, "At our age, this should just be entertainment for the fans, because nobody wants to see 2 old fighters trying to seriously hurt each other."
Not, we're going to have fun, we're going to throw a few punches, like I'm taking this seriously and I'm trying to fight Tyson?
I don't know. I just want to give the fans what they want to see, excitement. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an exciting event, and people from all around the world.
But sources say Manny immediately fired back with intensity, stating, "Speak for yourself, Floyd. I'm 47 years old, and I just went 12 rounds with Mario Barrios for a world title. I'm not old, and I'm not scared. You're the one who's scared of losing that 0. And according to viewers, the personal nature of Manny's attack caught everyone off guard, as Stephen A. Smith's energy reportedly surged at that moment, with people who watched saying Stephen A. pressed Floyd directly, asking, "Floyd, did you or did you not sign contracts specifying a professional fight?" While sources claim Floyd hesitated before answering, and then said the contracts were open to interpretation, and that his team is reviewing them. And insiders report Manny exploded again, saying, "Open to interpretation. Your signature is open to interpretation. You took advance money. That's not interpretation. That's theft if you don't honor the contract.
Yeah, there's a disagreement in terms of whether this is a real fight or an exhibition, but really that's really falling on the side of Mayweather, since apparently he already signed the contracts, the deal was already done. He took some advances apparently on the actual agreed upon terms of the
Then the conversation shifted to Floyd's 50-0 record and why it matters, as reports say Manny accused Floyd of protecting his undefeated record by trying to turn the fight into an exhibition so a loss would not count officially. And people close to the interview claim Manny said, "You're afraid, Floyd. You know I'm better now than in 2015. You know my shoulder was torn and I still gave you problems. Now I'm healthy and you're terrified." While according to viewers, Floyd's body language completely changed as he leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms in a clearly defensive posture.
The price ranges from 8 figures all the way to 9 figures that I'm able to get for exhibitions. And so why would I go out there and risk, fighting a top fighter when I can get the same amount of money for 3 rounds with?
Floyd's counterattack focused on Manny's age and recent performances, as insiders say Floyd pointed out that Manny fought to draw with Mario Barrios instead of winning, questioning whether Pacquiao is still in his prime anymore. But reports suggest Manny had an immediate response ready, stating, "I was 46 fighting a 29-year-old world champion, and most people thought I won. While you're 49 fighting nobody except YouTubers and exhibitions, we are not the same Floyd." And sources claim the audience in the studio began reacting audibly to Manny's sharp comeback.
"Oh, you better than Floyd. You better than Floyd." You know why? That's good. That's motivation for the fighter. You can tell him that, but deep in his heart.
Stephen A. Smith then asked about the financial implications, according to people watching, as reports suggest he brought up that Manny's promoter, Jasmther, had publicly stated Floyd was in breach of contract, and sources say Floyd finally showed emotion, raising his voice and saying, "Be breach of contract, I made this fight happen. Without me, there's no money, no Netflix deal, no sphere. Manny should be grateful." While according to insiders, Manny stood up from his chair at that moment, forcing Stephen A. to physically step in and position himself between both fighters.
What Netflix thinks about this. Like Netflix, which is throwing its resources behind it, which is putting a bunch of money into it, which is arranging reportedly for the Sphere to be the venue of choice for this fight. I gotta believe that Netflix is expecting this to be.
Manny's response while standing was reportedly the most intense moment of the entire interview, as people who watched claim he pointed directly at Floyd and said something close to, "Grateful. You need this fight more than me. Floyd, you're the one dealing with money problems, lawsuits, and debt. You took advance payment because you're desperate. I don't need your money. I need to beat you and prove I'm the better fighter." While sources say security staff began moving closer to the set as the confrontation continued to escalate.
He's undefeated, and then this is give me more encouragement, motivation to work hard, like what I did before in my.
Floyd stood up to match Manny's energy, and according to reports, insiders claim Floyd said, "Money problems? I'm Floyd Money Mayweather. I've made over $1 billion. You think I need you?" But sources say Manny immediately referenced Floyd's recent lawsuit against Showtime, where he claims he's owed $340 million. And according to people watching, Manny said, "If you're so rich, why are you suing for money you say you're owed? Why did you take advance payment on our fight? Rich people don't need advances, Floyd." While viewers report that Floyd had no immediate response to that.
In Dubai, I'm traveling the world on my jet, making millions every month, not worried about nothing. And then when I see it's a chance for me to do a heist, a quick heist.
Stephen A. Smith attempted to redirect the conversation back to the actual fight itself, and reports suggest he asked both fighters what would happen if they couldn't resolve the contract dispute, while sources claim Floyd said he was willing to proceed with the exhibition and split the money evenly regardless of the outcome. But insiders say Manny's response was firm and decisive, stating, "No exhibition, a professional fight or nothing. I will not participate in fake boxing. Either put your 50-0 record on the line like a real champion, or cancel the fight and return the advance money you took."
Oh, this is what Pacquiao manager said. If he's scared of Manny and does not want to put the record on the line in a professional boxing match, not only should he have never executed these agreements, but he should have just come right out and said because Manny ain't scared.
The legal implications then became the next major topic, as sources say Stephen A. asked Manny directly whether he plans to sue Floyd for breach of contract, and reports suggest Manny said his legal team is reviewing all options while his preference is for Floyd to simply honor the signed agreements, with insiders claiming Manny stated, "I don't want to sue Floyd, I want to fight Floyd professionally and beat him. But if he refuses to honor the contracts he signed and took money for, then yes." Legal action is absolutely on the table.
Netflix, a multi-billion-dollar company, officially announced that this would be a real fight.
Floyd's response focused on his legacy and protecting it. As sources claim, he explained that at 49 years old, his legacy is already secure and he does not need to risk it against anyone, with insiders reporting Floyd said something like, "My legacy is 50, 5 weight divisions, billionaire, so why would I risk that against Manny when we can just entertain people and both get paid?" While according to people watching, Manny's face showed clear disgust at this answer.
Most world champions.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
Manny then brought up their 2015 fight and his shoulder injury, as reports suggest he told Floyd directly, "You know, you got lucky in 2015. My shoulder was torn. You saw me after the fight. I could barely lift my arm. Now I'm healthy, and you want to call it an exhibition because you know the real result will be different," while sources say Floyd dismissed this completely, saying the shoulder excuse has been used for 11 years and that nobody believes it anymore. And according to insiders, this dismissal only made Manny even angrier.
It's the experience is like not really 100%, but I'm hoping for this time around, no more excuses, especially to my condition and also for everything. Like I'm so excited and ready.
Stephen A. Smith asked both fighters about their training camps and preparation, and sources claim Floyd admitted he hasn't been training seriously because he believed this was just an exhibition meant for entertainment, while reports suggest Manny revealed he has been in a full training camp with Freddie Roach for 6 weeks preparing for a real professional fight. And according to people close to the interview, Manny said, "I'm training like this is the biggest fight of my life. Floyd has been partying and doing exhibitions. That tells you everything about who's serious and who's scared."
Entertain an exhibition with someone like maybe a Conor McGregor?
No, I don't like exhibition. Like I want if Mayweather is my opponent, I don't like exhibition. Like I want fight. Like there's a decision.
The conversation then shifted to what Netflix and the Sphere venue expect, as insiders say Stephen A. mentioned that Netflix announced this as a professional fight and that the Sphere is marketing it as its first professional boxing match, while sources claim he asked Floyd directly how he plans to explain to Netflix that he wants to change the terms. And reports suggest Floyd said his team is in discussions with all parties and that everyone will be happy with the final arrangement, although, according to viewers, Manny shook his head in disbelief at Floyd's answer, and Manny's promoter, Josh Mather, was brought up extensively during the interview, with sources saying Stephen A. referenced Mather's ESPN interview where he accused Floyd of being in breach, since the day he called it an exhibition, while people watching claim Floyd tried to discredit Mather by calling him just a promoter trying to make noise. But insiders report Manny defended Mather strongly, stating, "Joss, Mather represents me and speaks truth. He has all the contracts, all the signatures, all the proof. Floyd signed 3 separate agreements. That's not noise. That's facts backed by legal documents." Then Floyd brought up Manny's political career and questioned his focus, as reports suggest Floyd said something like, "Manny is busy with politics in the Philippines and doesn't have time to train properly for a real fight anyway." And sources claim Manny's response was immediate, sharp, and cutting.
Floyd is saying the fight is an exhibition, but according to the reports, Pacquiao and Netflix were under the impression that it was a real fight that would count. Like if Floyd won, he'd be 51.
According to people watching, the personal nature of the attacks continued to escalate throughout the interview, as Stephen A. Smith asked about the Mike Tyson exhibition Floyd has scheduled, and insiders say he questioned how Floyd can do an exhibition with Tyson while also claiming the Pacquiao fight is an exhibition, with sources reporting Floyd explained these are separate deals with different promoters, but according to people close to the interview, Manny jumped in saying, "You're Tyson. Fight is in May and our fight is in September. You have 4 months between them. You're doing multiple exhibitions because you need money. Floyd, just admit it and stop lying about our contract," while the discussion then shifted to betting odds and public perception, as reports suggest Stephen A. mentioned that betting markets initially had Floyd as the favorite, but the odds shifted toward Manny after the exhibition controversy began, and sources claim Floyd dismissed betting odds as irrelevant, but insiders say Manny used this to emphasize his point, saying even gamblers know you're scared, Floyd. That's why the odds moved and everyone sees you trying to protect your record by making this fake instead of real, while Floyd attempted to turn the tables by questioning Manny's true intentions, with sources saying Floyd accused Manny of only wanting a professional fight for promotional reasons and not truly believing he could win, reportedly saying, "If you were confident you'd win, you wouldn't care if it's an exhibition or a professional fight, because either way you get to beat me up," and according to insiders, Manny's response completely shut down that logic. Stephen A. Smith wrapped up by asking both fighters point-blank if a September 19th fight will happen, as sources claim Floyd gave a vague answer about waiting to see what his team decides, but reports suggest Manny was crystal clear, stating, "The fight happens on September 19th as a professional bout like we contracted, or the fight doesn't happen at all. And I will pursue legal action for breach of contract and the return of advance payments. Floyd has two choices, honor his word or face." The consequences, while according to people who watched, the interview ended with both fighters refusing to shake hands, Stephen A. standing between them, and the entire boxing world left wondering if this fight will actually happen.